Land is essential for every human activity on earth because it is a source of material wealth. Good day, esteemed viewers. Welcome to your much-awaited show, Real Estate and I, powered by P1 Haven Investment and Realtors Limited. I am your host, Emanuela Nsemwa, and here with me is Barrister Edika Ide. Barrister is a legal practitioner with P1 Haven and has vast knowledge about real estate matters. So, Barrister, as we all are aware that in Nigeria, the Land Use Act is the major government policy regulating land ownership. So before you take us through the Land Use Act, can you tell us how land ownership in Nigeria was regulated?
Thank you very much, Emanuela, for hosting me on today's episode. Like you said, Land Use Act is a national policy document. Land is a major factor of production, and that is why it is regulated in Nigeria. Now, before the advent of colonial masters in Nigeria, land was communally held by communities and families. So individuals had no title to land. They only shared a derivative interest in relation to land. Lands were held by communities in trust, not for the natives of that particular community. But when the colonial masters came, they came with a purely economic motive, and they had to establish their merchandise. So they required land for this purpose to carry out their economic activities. So for them to do this, they had to change the land tenure that was in vogue. They enacted a certain laws regulating land ownership. And the first law that was enforced was enacted by Lord Lugard in the year 1900. That was the Land Promulgation Ordinance. And by virtue of this ordinance, lands, title to lands were only acquired, with the approval of the High Commissioner. And subsequently, other enactments were put in place by the colonial masters, such as the Native Lands Acquisition Act of 1917. So this continued until Nigeria eventually got independence in the year 1960 and also became a republic in the year 1963. So after independence, the private ownership of lands by individuals, families, and communities was in vogue in the southern part of the country, while the northern part of the country had a land tenure law that was enacted in the year 1962, which vested all lands, in the northern region of Nigeria, in the minister in charge, of land affairs. Those lands were to be held by the minister in trust, for the benefit of the natives of northern Nigeria. So that also continued until eventually a uniformed system of land ownership was created through the promulgation of the Land Use Act in the year 1978.
Barrister, that was really thrilling and thought-provoking. Okay, so Barrister, I want you to expose our mind in the Land Use Act and how it was regulated, because you mentioned Land Use Act, so expose our mind more on how it was regulated.
Thank you very much, Emanuela. Yes, the Land Use Act, like I said earlier, is the major government policy regulating land ownership in Nigeria. The Land Use Act was enacted on the 29th of March 1978. And the essence for its enactment was to create a uniformity in the land tenure system in Nigeria. So the Land Use Act regulates ownership, control, acquisition, administration and management of all lands in Nigeria. So Section 1 of the Land Use Act vests all lands comprised in the territory of each state of the federation, in the governor of that state, and such lands are to be held in trust for the benefit of all Nigerians in accordance with the provisions of the Act. And Section 5 of Sub 1 of the Land Use Act empowers the governor of each state to grant statutory right of occupancy to any person, in respect of lands, whether or not such lands are situated in urban areas. And by virtue of Section 9 of the same Act, a certificate of occupancy can be issued by the governor of that state as further proof, as evidence, of the statutory right of occupancy granted to any individual in respect to any landed property within the state. And that statutory right of occupancy is regarded as the highest title to land in Nigeria. Why? Because it gives the holder, the exclusive right to a particular land. It gives him exclusive ownership to the exclusion of others except the governor of the state who granted to him or her the right of occupancy. And the certificate of occupancy, which is further granted by the governor, in confirmation of the statutory right, has a duration of 99 years. And when this is granted by the governor, it gives that person the proof to the whole world that he owns this land to the exclusion of others. So Section 21 of the Land Use Act, as well as Section 22, prohibits the holder of this statutory right of occupancy from alienating interest in such land in respect of which the right was granted without the consent of the governor of that particular state, who holds the land in trust for the benefit of all Nigerians. So in a nutshell, the Land Use Act has created a uniform system of ownership whereby land in each state of the federation is now vested in the governor, who administers such land for the benefit of all Nigerians.
Thank you so much, Barrister Edika. So, Barrister, by implication, every land in the nation is held in trust by the state government. Am I right?
Yeah, every land, situated in each state of the federation is held in trust, is vested in the governor of that particular state where the land is situated, to be held in trust for the benefit of all Nigerians in accordance with the provisions of the Act. So it means a land in, take for instance, Lagos State, is vested, ownership to lands in Lagos State is vested in the governor of Lagos State. He holds it as a trustee for the benefit of all Nigerians.
I've learned something so deep today. I believe you all have learned something today. Anyway, Barrister, I heard you mention C of O as one of the titles we have in the real estate industry. Anyways, that will be for next week. Thank you so much for joining in, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and follow us on all our social media platforms. And if you enjoyed this section, kindly leave us a comment in this comment section. Until next week, bye-bye now.